Hi, welcome to the Blah Blah podcast. Before we start, would you like to introduce yourself?
So I'm Brian from Conformity. So we are a sneaker slash streetwear slash vintage store located in Singapore. And I am 28 this year. And yeah, this is what I do.
Wow, okay. So you're 28.
Yes.
Are you still single?
No.
You're not single. Sorry, ladies. I'm sorry. So you're the owner of Conformity. Could you explain to the viewers and the listeners that might not know Conformity, just like what it is exactly?
Okay, yeah. So basically we take reference from a lot of the thrift stores in Japan where the streetwear culture is very prevalent. So we are like a hybrid of that. So we have streetwear, the latest streetwear, we have luxury pieces, we have vintage clothing, we have rare sneakers, and yeah, that's pretty much what we are. So I would say it's a very different retail experience that we're trying to have here. So I don't know how you want to take that, but yeah, that's what we are. I don't know how to explain it as well.
Okay, so it's very inspired by like Japanese culture, is it?
Yes, because in Japan, the fashion culture is a lot like more advanced in Singapore, and people there actually are very receptive to this kind of like thrift stores along the Harajuku lanes. You know, there are a lot of these kind of stores. So I take a lot of inspiration from those stores in Japan as well as the US.
Ah, okay. So would you say that your clothing is more so inspired by Western culture or Japanese culture?
I would say the concept is Western Japanese, but the clothing is from everywhere.
Ah.
So basically our job is so conformity, it means to conform. But actually our tagline is against conformity. We want to create a space where someone can just come in and I would say explore their fashion sense under the case and not be judged by whatever they pick. So therefore we have a very wide range of items. We have like vintage apparel ranging to like luxury brands. So it's like finding your own style.
Okay. I guess that makes sense because I feel like there's a lot of like contrast between the name of the shop, which is Conformity, which is like conform to like society and stuff like that. But from what I can tell from like your social media as well as like coming to the store firsthand, there's a lot of different varieties. So there's like a lot of like different things, mainly streetwear, but still a lot of different things for different types of people. So to follow up on that, so on your Instagram it says curated vintage and thrift, and I know you did mention thrift as well. So are your clothes or are the clothes that you sell secondhand items?
So majority of our items are brand new because that's what the majority of the market want. But we still do curate a very, I would say, vast section of pre-owned items. So for example, vintage apparel has been very popular amongst the youth recently. So those are pre-owned. We have some pieces from like 1980s, 1990s, which are very cool. Like pop culture, sports tees. And we also have a very small section that we focus on pre-owned streetwear. Because we personally feel that fashion waste is a serious problem right now. So like if you buy a t-shirt, like a branded t-shirt for like $100, we feel that after you go through the motion, it doesn't necessarily mean that it's not going to be worth anything because you bought it for $100. You're going to be able to sell it for at least $40, $50. So we are the agents that actually help you bring it back in and sell it to someone that would appreciate a second-hand piece, if he or she wouldn't mind. For example, like the younger students who do not have enough spending power, they would like appreciate it, rather than someone who would just want to buy something brand new. So that's what we believe in.
So correct me if I'm wrong, but through like researching and also just like seeing from like social media and stuff, thrifting has always been a thing, and mainly it's targeted for people with like lower income that doesn't really have, as you said, enough spending power.
So it's not low income per se, because I can tell you that we have neighbors in the vicinity. I don't know whether you've seen their store, Loop Farms. They are the first ones in like the scene to break out in Singapore in 2016, and people really appreciate that. There are people that really appreciate vintage apparel.
Yeah.
Yeah. Like some of the tees, if I tell you, for example, if I say a NBA Lakers or like a Michael Jordan tee from the 1990s, they can go up to like $1,000.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
For sure.
So it's not low income per se, but it's just that people who do not wish to spend so much, or people who
appreciate the history,
and the culture. Yeah, those are the kind of people. But generally, yes, I agree, they are generally lower priced. So people, yeah, they have more options.
So, well, like talking about that as well, I feel like it became more trendy nowadays. So way back then, the when people hear the word thrifting, I feel like that's the first thing that they think. It's like, oh, for lower income, it's like for cheap clothes. But nowadays, thrifting is like a very trendy and popular thing to do.
There are a few categories, if you want, if I could just briefly go through. So thrifting, so there's thrifting and it's vintage, right? So vintage is already thrifted. We have sorted out like stuff with more meaning. Thrifting is like you just go to like maybe a Goodwill or places where they have things that can go, be as cheap as $3, $4. Yeah, so it is a different culture. I wouldn't say our place is thrifting because we have already curated the goods already. So we have curated our vintage apparel line to focus mainly on like American sports brands, for example Nike, and NFL, NBA. We have Harley Davidson. So ours is already thrifted already. So we price things higher. Our t-shirts range from about like 30 to 40. Where if you really get into thrifting and go into like the Goodwills and stuff, you can really get like a piece for like $2-3. So that's like slightly different in a way.
Okay. So like I guess in the second-hand item genre, there's different tiers. There's thrift, there's curated thrift, and then there's curated vintage.
Yes.
Okay, and like varying.
It's really it's a grey area, but generally the Singaporean culture, I think they are very into it right now. So vintage, per se. Yeah.
So getting into that, right? You seem very passionate about this topic as well. So how did you start this business? Did you start with a physical location in mind? And also, did you expect to gain almost 18,000 followers on Instagram?
Okay, so I get this question a lot. I started in like year 3 of my university at SMU. So yeah, my school's just like one stop away from our current location. So it started off as a passion for me. So in 2017, I was introduced to sneakers, hype sneakers. So there's a brand called Off-White, and their founder, the creative director, is Virgil Abloh, who died last year, sadly from cancer. But he changed the whole scene, and he had a collection called The 10 with Nike. And ever since then, they had a few iterations come out, but that collab really changed the whole trajectory for like sneakers. Put sneakers on the map, people started getting into it, and I was one of them. So I really liked like what he did with the 10 sneakers. So basically, Nike let him do his own take on like 10 classic silhouettes of Nike sneakers, and that's where I started getting into sneakers. So I started getting into sneakers. I really joined the culture, joined the community locally, and I really liked it. So I flew to Japan, so I saw what they were doing in the stores, and I decided to just, as a passion project, start Conformity. So the unit that we have now is our second unit. The first one we had was actually across the road. It was a very, very small place that I just decided to do instead of my internship during my summer break. So ever since then, we've just been growing, just been focusing, and yeah. So David is my guy lah. David is the social media guy. He's been with me for 2 years already. So that's how I started it, and yeah. So that's the question.
So did COVID affect the business like by a lot, or?
I mean, we had a lockdown, right? So that was right after I graduated. So I found myself having 2 months of free time. So I think that's good. But it actually forced us to actually innovate and actually think of other alternatives to sell. So we started our website because of COVID, which I think is still running well today. I was pretty adamant on the idea of having a website, and because I was all about like, hey, physical store, but that really complemented our business well.
So how do you source your apparels?
Okay, so basically I would like to say that we are like a service provider. We are not like an official distributor of the brand per se. So we cannot sell at cost price. But most of these brands, they drop, as in they release either online in very limited amounts in a very fixed time. So our job is we have to know when these items are dropping, and we do our best to go and try to get as many as we can.
Okay.
Then we sell it in store for profit. That is the whole concept of business. But there are of course some brands, like luxury brands, that we actually work with other partners outside the scene that specialize in bringing in like high-end luxury goods. So we collab with them, and I wouldn't be able to say how they get because it's like trade secret, but
okay, of course,
but generally that's what we do. We try to bring in a wide range of things for people to come and see.
And then there's also you do consignments as well, right?
Someone wants to sell something, and because we have the audience, we have a physical location, we actually provide a service for them. So we just we mark up for them, and because there are a lot of individual sellers out there, like if you think of it like that, right? I'm done with like 3 of my shirts, and if I was to go and find individual buyers on Carousel, or I have to deal with a lot of like idiots, ballers and stuff, like these kind of common problems. So some people would just rather like just leave it to us, pass it to us, say, okay, go do your thing, market it as how you wish, and then just hope that someone buys it. And we have been quite successful.
For if anybody like our viewers or our listeners wants to consign their stuff, how would they do that?
So just head on to our Instagram, and we have all the information in our highlight story.
Do you have any tips for young and aspiring small business owners that's like trying to start?
Sure. There are a lot of people out there that are in the vintage arena, their own small Instagram store, personal store. My advice to them would be just keep on pushing and be open to collaborate with other people of like same caliber, because it benefits everybody. Like in my scene, like my type of store, there's actually another competitor which is like the biggest. They're called Exit. So they are like our competitors, but he's actually one of my best friends. So we actually met through this, and then we are very open to sharing like information with one another, and we help each other grow. So I've learned a lot from him. Shout out Darren, thank you, the idiot fella. and actually during COVID, we actually collabed and we opened another store. I would say that the fastest way to grow is about sharing like knowledge with each other, because that's why some of the vintage people, they do pop-ups where it come together 6 small creators to have like a big event, big crowd. I think that's fantastic. Singapore rental is very expensive, I know. So if you would like to start your own physical store, I think best to find like a place where rental is cheap, and you try to pull customers through your online presence.
You would say that community is a very important part of this.
Yes. No, okay, community is, but if your business doesn't necessarily, if there's no community aspect, it doesn't matter. But always be open to collaborate, I would say. That is like the fastest way to grow.
So there's kind of like a community, right, of people that really like, streetwear and like all this brands and niche, specifically the aesthetic specifically. Would you say that the community has a lot of like impact on Conformity?
Yes, I would say that the community did help Conformity grow from the start. And I will always be forever grateful to them up to today. So it's like a basic foundation. You have that people that you can rely on.
Conformity is specifically a streetwear store. Would you ever branch out of that? Like branch out to different type of like niches?
Okay, so I mean, you guys know that we sell Pokemon cards as well.
Yeah, we do.
We are just doing like what we like. We of course, to be a viable business to profit still, we have to keep up with the trends, keep up with what people want. But at the same time, on the side, we have some capacity to do other things. One, to create our own apparel, our own merch, our own line, to actually make like a streetwear, casual clothing more affordable to the masses. So we use our knowledge and experience with all these brands. You know, and we gather what customers like about this brand, they don't like about this brand, and then we actually create a t-shirt that we find that is suitable for everyday wear. So that's what we're going to do now. We want something more affordable and appeals more to the general mass. So t-shirts, we are going to do tabs, socks, accessories, laces. So that's what we're getting into. So if you're asking me about, that is what we are branching out into right now. Hopefully in the future, we will be able to have our own brand stores, small stores in like different neighborhood areas, which is cool, and while still having our own main store.
How would you describe your like original clothing line in 3 words?
Cheap.
Cheap.
Quality. And stylish.
Stylish. There you go.
Yeah. So.
If anybody wants any cheap, stylish, and good quality clothing, come on down to Conformity. So, okay, let's get into kind of like the bomb questions, I'd say. If you could wear only one thing for the rest of your life, what would it be? Only one thing.
I mean, I should say my own brand, right? But I would say like what I'm wearing now, Fear About Essentials.
Okay, would you rather have the shirt or the shorts?
Oh! I mean,
only one thing. Shorts. Okay.
Be able to like go around without being arrested, right?
Okay.
Yeah.
What's the most expensive thing you've ever bought for yourself?
My car, I guess.
In terms of clothing and accessories.
So I actually bought an Air Dior Jordan 1. I bought it pre-owned for like $8,000. Yeah, but I don't have it anymore. I bought it as investment and I actually sold it away already. So that was the most expensive one.
What was the original value if it wasn't pre-owned?
It was brand new. Back then it was going for about like 13 grand. Yeah.
Oh my god.
Yeah. The retail is like $3,000.
Okay. To follow up on that, what is the most expensive thing you've ever sold?
Wow.
Whether in Conformity or yourself.
Okay. The same shoe, I sold it.
Oh, that's the most expensive one. Okay.
I bought and I sold it.
Okay. Think about this way. If you still have those shoes, would you rather burn it or do a TikTok trend?
TikTok trend, 100%.
We'll see about that.
Yeah.
We'll see about that.
We love TikTok now. David, don't laugh. We are TikTok like noobs, but we hope to get there one day.
Okay, there you go. Please follow. Do you guys have a TikTok? There you go. Here's the TikTok. Please give them a follow. Like all that stuff. Support them.
We have some like questionable stuff that we don't put out on Instagram. So.
Maybe if you start doing TikTok dances, people might.
Oh, trust me, we have done it.
TikTok thirst traps? No.
That one is not good for brand image. As much as I want to, but.
Sorry viewers, sorry listeners, unfortunately. But thank you so much for joining us today. It's been an absolute pleasure. Do you have anything else you want to say, maybe? Final words?
I guess for people out there I do know a lot of people that come to me and like people that say, I really want to do this my own, especially in the fashion line, whether it's vintage or whether it's starting your own small resale business. There's always platforms like Carousel to help you at a very low cost. So that's about it.
There you go. There you have it. Shout out to Conformity. Shout out everybody here. Thank you so much, Brian, for having us. Thank you for being here. All right. Bye, everyone. Thank you for joining the podcast. Bye-bye.